welcome to Shane's Book Addiction. I am your host, Zanman Shane Sabuni, along with my good buddy, the Honorable Jeff.
Hello.
And we're going to talk to you today about a little book called Noble Beginnings by L.T.
Um, Shane,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on this book? What's your rating?
about a 1.5 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, all right. I see that. The reason why I'm saying that is because the last couple books we've looked at, it'd been 5 star. I always like to look up the book because I was coming to these blind. I don't read, as maybe some newer listeners don't know that. The only thing I ever read is articles online and subtitles. Those are my books of choice. Shane is an avid reader, so the whole gist of this is Shane explaining to me a book he just read and my reaction on how it works. Sometimes to Shane's dismay, my reaction is not what he likes, and he reacts to it. But um, normally, I like to look up the ratings, kind of get a background on the books and things like that. But um, the last few books we read, it was 5 star rating, 5 star rating, 5 star rating. And the reason I asked you the way that I did is because I'm looking at this, and it's, I think, the highest rated. No, there's a couple fours, um, but I even saw a 2 star rating here.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So I the reason I read this book is because I love Jack Reacher books, and I kind of wanted a little like palate cleanser between two fantasy books. So I kind of like read this one, giving it a shot, seeing that it's a very popular series. It's got 13 books out there for it, so I figured, hey, I must be doing something right. Um, so the synopsis of this book, Jeff, would be two Marines are working for the CIA,
okay,
and they're over in Iraq. This is shortly after this sets shortly after the Twin Towers were destroyed. So they're in Iraq. They're assigned to the CIA. They're basically investigating terrorists. They're talking to this family. They save the family from the CIA. They get back to headquarters and they get arrested for killing the family. Then they get basically shipped back to the United States, and they're kind of running for their lives. That's pretty much the gist of. And they find out that their general that's in charge of them is behind this whole thing from the start, because he's been trying to dismantle the program of the Marines working with the CIA. So that's the gist of this story. Quite a difference between my complicated telling you about Jade War or about Shadow of the Gods, right?
right, yeah. Um,
It's
I'm
pretty much
looking at this. Okay,
it's it's pretty much a generic, really generic plot going on.
okay. Looking at this book was the first of 13 in the Jack Noble
Yep.
series. There's recently been released a Noble prequel. So now, we got one before this, so 14 in that series, and 5 spin-off series.
Really.
Uh, how many of of these now 14 books for the Noble, and then the 5 spin-off series, which looks like the Bear Logan has 4 books in it. Clarissa has, looks like 3, and then there's one each of the other 3. How
Okay.
many of these books do you think you're going to read?
I will probably give a couple more shots to this just to see like where it goes, but and just to see if gets to be a better writer after this first one. But
Well,
I,
somebody likes him because he's published a ton of books that are
he
spin-offs
has,
or in this series.
yeah. I
And I'm
understand
sorry,
that now.
The Clarissa Abbott series has 1 book, and Mitch Tanner has 3. And then the other 2 series, they're not showing me, but it looks like there's only 1 each of those.
Okay.
So I mean, this dude's written, Jesus, we're looking at almost 25 books all around this universe.
So some things I thought really like this book started off, and I really liked the beginning of it. But here's some shit that happens in it that I just really thought like really brought it down. One of them is Bear Logan is actually Jack Noble's partner, right?
Okay.
He's the other Marine with him that gets kind of like arrested and brought back to the United States. So Bear gets shot in like the shoulder area, the shoulder neck area up here, and he's bleeding like really bad. And Jack's like, I gotta get him some medical attention right away. So, I gotta check him out. I gotta get him some medical attention right away. I gotta get that blood stopped. I gotta get him somewhere to help, get him taken care of. So he drives from Virginia 3 hours to his ex-girlfriend's house. 3 fucking hours after just saying how worried he was about the blood loss and making sure that his friend is okay. 3 hours, Jeff.
There wasn't a hospital within a few miles,
Right?
or even at the very least a pharmacy where he could have went in and got tweezers and a bandage.
Right, exactly. There's another part where once you're at their ex-girlfriend's house, they're leaving the house and she's like the garage, and they're taking her Tahoe, and she's like, the garage door opener's right at the top, right on the sun visor. He's like, oh, okay. He looks at her and then he slams on the gas and just crashes through the garage door. And she's like, why did you do that? And Logan's like, well, he did it to make a loud noise and throw off the two agents that are after us. Well, the two agents didn't even move from that loud noise.
Wouldn't the two agents be drawn to the loud noise?
Wouldn't you think so?
I mean, if I was after somebody and I heard a loud bang, I'd go check that out.
Right. Stupid.
All right.
So, and he hasn't seen this chick in 5 years, right? So it's been 5 years since he saw this chick. They get there, she goes with them and they're on the run. They go to this like no-tell motel place to lay low, and he's telling the clerk we need one room, and she's like, no, I'm not sleeping in the same room as you. We need to get two rooms. And he's finally like, turns on her, and she's like, I don't know what you think. Like, you think we're gonna get two rooms, and we're gonna get one room, and we're gonna get back together right away? No way, Jack. We're not getting back together this quickly, or maybe at all. And he's like, no, I'm doing this because I can't be. We neither Bear nor I can be watching you if you're in a different room. We're doing this to make sure that we're all safe and together. So then he goes out to get some supplies, and then like food and stuff like that. He comes back, and she basically jumps him, jumps him, like kissing him and making out with him and all this kind of shit. And he's like, I thought she didn't want to go. She's like, oh, I thought about it, and that kind of shit, right?
So we got time frames here. We've got my best friend is dying, so I'm going to take 3 hours to help him.
Yep.
But I'm going to make, and then, a little bit later, I have to make this future life altering decision, and I'm going to do it in a 10-minute grocery run.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Great writing.
Yeah. And then at the end of the book, she decides, oh, she doesn't want to do him after all. And so she leaves. All
right.
But before she leaves, he's gotten this digital recorder, and he's gotten he's got the evidence of his general confessing on it, and he gives it to her to make a CD and burn it onto his computer. And he gives a digital recorder to the Secretary of Defense to use against the general, and of course, the Secretary of Defense takes the digital recorder and just throws it into his glass of a bourbon and just destroys the digital recorder. And Jack's like, well, why'd you do that? He's like, well, I'm going to use this for political. I'm going to get him politically instead of. I'm going to get him politically instead of taking him down your way. And Jack's like, well, that's okay. I've got recordings. Well, it turns out his ex-girlfriend has, she's wiped off the recording both on the CD and from the computer because she's afraid for her family's life. There was just so many like little things like that just made it like, yeah, this is not good. So.
Yeah.
So generic story, stupid decisions. But just parts that were just so rushed and stupid, it just made no sense.
based on your review, I do not want to see this as a television show or movie. And I'm going to give it a 1-star rating for inconsistency and bad story writing alone.
Yeah. So the end of the book, the very end is basically this guy like recruits him to be a hired an assassin for hire. So that's why I wanted like at least check out the next book or two just to see, does the writing get better? Where does the story go? That kind of thing. And if I'm still feeling the same way after like 3 books, maybe I'm going to be done with the series. I don't care how many. If there's another 10 in the Noble series and 5 other ones that are out there for the other characters. It's just not something that's going to be my fancy if
Well,
it's that bad.
it's like you've said before, you got to give a TV show at least 3 episodes to
Right.
decide if it's watchable or not.
Right.
And we've seen recently where that's happened. We did Jupiter's Legacy, which I'm still a little upset about. And if you're wondering why I'm upset, check out our show from Wednesday that we just did, the Pop Culture Show, where we discussed a movie, and then Shane broke some horrifying news to me.
Yep.
But and again, I can't remember the name of the movie.
Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Those Who Wish Me Dead, yeah.
Yeah.
I kept thinking Wish You Were Dead, but Those Who Wish Me Dead. So go back, check that out. We got some Jupiter Legacy news on there. But like Jupiter Legacy, it's a good thing we watched 3 episodes because it started to pick up at the end of the second. Shadow and Bone, I felt the same way about. It was about the 3rd episode when I really started to get into that. Lock
Yep.
and Key was about the 2nd episode. So yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. I can understand the desire to probably check out a couple of them, especially since you like the Jack Reacher stuff and the Bourne stuff and things like that. And this is supposed to be like that.
Right. And also it's just there's like it's like only like 200 pages, so it's like a quick maybe 5 days or something. So it's not something that's gonna be taking up a lot of my time, and it gives you a little bit of a break between the epic fantasy stuff.
And I mean, with the amount of books, not only in this series, she's 14 books in the Jack Noble series, and then the multiple, 5 spin-off series with at least a minimum of 1, but like the Bear Logan has 4. Obviously somebody likes this, or a publisher wouldn't keep publishing this many books.
Yeah, and maybe I'll try a couple of the Jack Noble stuff. If I don't like those, maybe I'll try out the Bear Logan and the Mitch Tanner ones and see how I like those.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I am with this one. So like 1.5 for out of 10 for me. You gave it 1 out of 5 stars. So pretty much the same rating, right?
I gave it 1 out of 100 stars.
Did you?
Synopsis.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Just off your synopsis, it sounds like absolute crap. The timeline thing where my best friend is dying and I got to get and I'm going to go 3 hours before I save him, but then the life altering decision is made in 10 minutes and then she just leaves him anyway.
Yeah,
it does not sound like anything that I couldn't even imagine a trailer being made that would make me want to watch this crap.
And also just like obvious who the bad guy was, right? Obvious like the whole time who the bad guy was.
Well, and you make a loud bang in the back and they don't even come to check it out when they're looking for you. It just, I don't know.
Yeah. So that's our review of Noble Beginnings. I'm actually kind of in the middle of 2 books right now, so I don't know if I'll finish either one by our next show. So
I'll try. Have something else planned? Didn't we have something else planned in case you couldn't get a book done?
Yeah, so we may talk about
we may
talk about my to be read list for the rest of the year, or I also wanted to do kind of like a I'll ask you should I read the Malaysian book of the fall? So
all right.
So we got a couple ideas in case for weeks that I don't have a book to review. So
all right, sounds good. So guys, make sure you check out our other shows. Our Rusted Show on Monday, our Pop Culture Show on Wednesdays, and then Shane's Book Addiction on Fridays. Also, if you like this at any point, hit the like button, subscribe button, and ring the notification bell, because like I said, we put out 3 shows a week. And then also check out our Patreon if you get a chance, patreon.com/Kingdom of Honor.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, this is Shane saying long days, pleasant nights, and Jeff saying
Bye-bye.